The summer of 2025 was ending. I had been on a hard stretch, and I knew I needed to get away. A friend suggested Japan, and 2 weeks later, I was waking up at the crack of dawn in Brooklyn, heading to JFK, and boarding a 787 to fly across the planet. I arrived in Tokyo with no plan or expectations, and soon I drifted to Osaka, and there I thought, what better way to get to know Japan than by going to a game of its most popular sport, one that combines skill, luck, and superstition. My favorite sport, baseball. My name is T.B. Crawford, and this is my tribute and a thank you to the Hanshin Tigers. I arrived in the Kansai region of Japan with one goal in mind, to go to a Hanshin Tigers game. The Kansai region, I had read, is the industrial capital of Japan. Osaka, its biggest city, has a population of 3 million and a reputation for being rowdier and louder. The Osaka Tigers, formed in 1935, were named after the Detroit Tigers because Osakans identified with the hard-knock industrial city of Detroit. Later, in 1961, the name was changed to the Hanshin Tigers due to the team's popularity, as the word Hanshin is formed by combining Osaka and Kobe, Kansai's two largest cities. Tigers fans are known for being some of the most fanatical in Nippon Professional Baseball, or NPB, Japan's professional baseball league. Legend has it, when the Tigers won their first championship in 1985 after 50 years, thousands of fans went to Downtonbury Canal to celebrate. Each time they called out a player's name, a look-alike jumped into the water. When they got to American slugger Randy Bass, nobody could find an American to jump into the canal. Instead, the crowd descended on a Kentucky Fried Chicken and threw a Colonel Sanders statue into the water. The team didn't win a championship again, and for decades, the fans felt they had been cursed by the ghost of Colonel Sanders. I was in Osaka during a historic season for the Tigers. Led by rookie manager and Chicago Cubs veteran Kyuji Fujikawa, it was the team's 90th anniversary year and they had the best record in the NPB. The offense was led by Koji Chikamoto, Takuma Nakano, Shota Morishita, and Teru Akisato with 36 homers. The pitching staff, led by Shoki Murakami and Hiroto Saiki, boasted a remarkable 2.14 ERA. And closer Daiichi Ishii was on a streak of 46 scoreless innings. Earlier in the season, the Tigers even shut out Shohei Ohtani's Los Angeles Dodgers during the Tokyo series. It was the height of monsoon season, and rain was in the forecast for the entire week. I was told the games were all sold out and it would be virtually impossible to get tickets. But I heard that if you went to the stadium, if you were lucky, you might find an old-timer selling their tickets. They might make a generous profit off of you, but I was told they would never scam you because they cared too much about the team. I went to the stadium to try my luck. The Tigers play at Koshien Stadium between Osaka and Kobe in an area called the Hanshin Sprawl. Koshien was built in 1924 for Japan's famous high school baseball tournaments, which were so popular that even Babe Ruth visited. Over 100 years later, the tradition is still upheld, and every August, the Tigers are kicked out for a month for the high school tournaments, leading fans to call August the road trip of death. Koshien is Japan's oldest ballpark, a 47,000-seat bowl under the Kansai sky. I had a stroke of luck getting a ticket an hour before the game. As I came to my seat, the rain cleared just in time for the game, and a rainbow stretched across the sky, landing on the field right before me. My seat was in the center of the Tigers cheering squad, their Owen Don. It was incredibly hot and humid, and everywhere I looked, thousands of fans were taking to their seats. I watched the pre-game festivities. The cheerleaders came out, accompanied by the Tigers mascot, Toe Lucky, a combination of the Japanese words for tiger and lucky, and Toe Lucky was accompanied by his girlfriend named Lucky. Soon the game started. I looked down at the ground, averting my eyes from the field. When I want my team to win, as a matter of superstition, I never watched the first pitch, and I was rooting for the Tigers. The Carps scored early, and their fans roared from the away section across the stadium. But the Tigers soon got the outs, and then it was their turn to bat. The Owendan leaders started the chanting as the Owendan chant whenever their team was up to bat. There are multiple chants for the team, such as victory chants when the team scores or wins, and then a chant for each player. Soon, the Tigers had the bases loaded. Then Yusuke Oyama came up. He took a couple strikes, and then he launched the ball straight up into the sky, following the arc of the rainbow that had earlier graced the field. A grand slam. All 47,000 people went wild. The singing and chanting started in earnest, led by the Owendan leaders in their white gloves. Around this time, I felt a tap on my shoulder. A man behind me gave me a high five. His name was Aki, the first friend I made in Japan. Every strikeout and every hit, we high-fived. Excited to make my first friend in Japan, I bought Aki a beer. Maybe that triggered an unspoken rule of hospitality, because soon the entire Owendan were giving me beers, onigiri, and ice cream, and after a few innings, I was so drunk that standing felt like floating. Eventually, the Tigers got the final out and won the game. The players of the game, and then the team's magic number of 3 was announced. The number of wins by the Tigers or losses by their rivals needed to secure the division championship. And then Aki asked me for a selfie, and I'm glad he did, because I'll probably frame it and save it for the rest of my days. Thank you, Aki. And then the music started. And the chanting and singing. And it was beginning to feel like the party would truly never end. I walked out among the crowds and throngs of people singing, chanting, and cheering. I had a lot to process, but I knew one thing. I was coming back tomorrow. I went and got on the train back to Osaka, and I've never been so happy to be packed on a train with hundreds of people chanting and cheering. Here at Koshien Stadium for a second game. I came here last night. It was an amazing time. The fans are absolutely electric here. The team is amazing. It's so far the best team in the MPB this year, and I got to tell you, being here yesterday was such a treat that I really had no choice but to come back. Yet again, I got lucky and got a ticket an hour before the game started. Except this time, I was on the other side of the stadium, directly in front of the Hiroshima Carp cheering section. It was even hotter than the day before. The crowd seemed to be even bigger this game, and I couldn't spot a single empty seat in the 47,000-seat stadium. The sun set over Koshien, and I saw the night sky coming on. I was surrounded by thousands of cheering fans. I saw the Owendan across the stadium, and I wished I was over there, to be honest. But I was really just happy to be in Koshien another night. But I had a great view tonight, straight down the third baseline. And tonight's game was even better. A classic pitcher's duel, tied 1-1 deep into the middle innings. Finally, the Tigers seemed to do the impossible and get a runner on, and the chanting and tension intensified. Then Shota Morishita, whose jersey I was wearing, which I now know is a lucky jersey, came up to bat. He took a strike. Then, the pitcher threw a fastball right down the middle, and Morishita nailed it, hitting a ground ball past second. The Tigers took the lead, and the crowd went wild. The innings ticked by with no more runs, and eventually the ninth inning arrived, and the Tigers sent out none other than Daichi Ishii to close the game. A pop-up hit. Sato ran and then made an amazing sliding catch to end the game. It was Ishii's 47th consecutive scoreless inning. The Tigers won, and then we all watched this awesome video of a tiger, and now you get to watch it too. The players of the game were announced, and then the team's magic number dropped to 1, which meant the Tigers needed one more win to make it to the playoffs. And then the singing and cheering started and rolled on until we were all finally kicked out, and I enjoyed every second of it. If the Tigers won tomorrow, they would make history being the fastest team in the NPB Central League to ever clinch their division. As the fans filtered out, I made a plan. I would come back the next day, but here my luck started to run out. The old-timers told me there was no way I would get a ticket this time because now everyone in Kansai wanted to be at the game. So disappointed and not knowing what to do with myself, the next day I checked out of my hotel and boarded a train out of town with no destination in mind. I found myself in Kyoto among the temples. I sat under the full moon by the Kamo River, watching the thunderstorms, wishing I was in Koshien, watching the Tigers beat the Carp. Here, I had one more stroke of luck and found a small bar that had one TV and a crowd of rowdy Tigers fans. And together, we watched the Tigers clinch the division championship. Sure, I may not have been at Koshien, but I was damn happy to be in that bar with a couple Tigers fans, watching the greatest baseball team on the planet win their division, making history in the process. All through my trip in Japan, and ever since, for some reason, a Tennessee Williams quote has been stuck on my mind. There is a time for departure, even when there is no certain place to go. I am beginning to think it applies to a lot of things in life, like trying to go to a baseball game with no ticket, or getting on a train without a destination, or even trying to win a championship when you are cursed by the ghost of Colonel Sanders. Which brings me back to the curse of the Colonel. After many failed attempts to recover the statue from the Dontaburi Canal, divers finally recovered it in 2009. It was returned to KFC, and the Tigers finally won their second championship in 2023. And of course, the fans celebrated in the best way imaginable, by throwing Colonel Sanders back into the canal. Go Tigers.